welcome to the Joy of Yoga. I'm Joy Scola, and today we are going to dive deep into Hatha Yoga. In my last video, I just briefly covered the four main widely practiced yoga styles, which is Hatha, Vinyasa, Yin, and Restorative. So today we're just going to break down Hatha a bit more. Now, Hatha is one of my all-time favorite yoga styles to practice, and it was actually started around between the 11th and 13th century. It's a way of uniting opposites. Union, yoga is actually broken down to mean yoke, combining together, joining together. So when you're practicing Hatha, you are literally bringing opposites together and living in the duality and practicing being in the duality. So you're rooting and rising, strengthening and releasing. Now, a lot of people, when they hear Hatha or yoga, they just think, oh, it's poses. You're just practicing poses on a mat, in a class, or at home. But actually, Hatha itself incorporates 8 limbs of the yoga. So it starts with the Yamas, which is the ways to reflect our true nature, and the Niyamas, which are tools for living in harmony. So with the Yamas, there are the different kinds of guidelines to follow. One of them being Asteya, which is non-stealing. So that could be non-stealing of anything that wasn't generously given or given freely. That could be someone's time and energy. That could be obviously taking things from a store, anything like that. And then when you go into the Niyamas, the tools for living in harmony, there's things like Saucha, which is cleanliness of body, mind, spirit, home, keeping yourself pure, so not eating junk food and things like that, keeping your home clean and decluttered and free of dust and things like that. So once you move past the Yamas and Niyamas, those always stay with you throughout your life, every day and in your practice. And then you get into practicing the poses or asanas. So that's when you get into what you typically see or go to in a class, is actually sitting in physical poses, where you can then really practice bringing the opposites together, living in the duality. And I love Hatha because you actually hold the poses for longer than like a vinyasa class. So you're able to really feel what that means in your body. And experience that in your life, because that just translates out when you get off the mat. Then you move into breath work or pranayama. So practicing different breathing techniques to stimulate your fire, so to speak, or for different methods to calm yourself down or to bring focus to your body. One of my favorite practices, pranayama practices, is Kapalabhati breathing. So you inhale and then you exhale sharply, just by it's almost like a punch to the middle of right where your ribs are about to touch, and you're inhaling kind of involuntarily. It's just this sharp exhale, and it means skull shining breath. So it's really supposed to clear everything out and help you get really focused and feel more attuned to the things around you. This is definitely one of my favorite things to practice. And then you move into withdrawal of senses. So that would actually look like Savasana or corpse pose, when you're laying on your mat and you're really trying to just let go of all thought and really allow your inner self to just release and flow freely and just kind of take yourself out of this world, so to speak. So you just kind of let everything fade away around you. And then that leads into intense focus. So that's kind of the very start of your meditation practice. You might focus on a mantra or a repeated phrase or a candle or just a single point in front of you, something to just really draw your mind to one thing. And again, it's almost kind of like your withdrawal of senses, so that way you're not thinking about anything else. And then that leads into your actual meditation, where again, everything is just completely blank, or if you have a specific focus, your intention is on that. And then that finally leads you to the final state of your state of oneness. So recognizing that we're all made up of atoms, everything is an atom, the chair, the camera, duck, everything, every person. So we are not separate. There is no such thing as separate. We are all one. We are all connected. So that is the full encompassing practice of Hatha. And I think that's why it's so great, not just for beginners, but for intermediates as well, who are really looking to make yoga a serious part of their entire life, that Hatha is the path to do that. Now, when you go to a typical Hatha class, you can expect the class to be between 60 to 75 minutes, mostly 60 minutes. If it is a 75-minute class, then you can expect some sort of pranayama or breathwork and meditation to be included either before or after the asana practice. And again, poses are held a little bit longer than a typical vinyasa class. So your poses will be held between like 5 to 10 to 15 breaths, which again allows you to feel the alignment in your body and to work on feeling into living the duality. So living in the strength and the ease, the rooting and the rising, finding the center of all of that. And then that translates off of your mat. So how you meet like a difficult pose and how you sit in that pose, say pigeon pose, your body wants to jump, run, you can't settle down in this pose. That's how you will react when you meet a difficult person or are in a difficult situation. You will just want to run or get away, or react in a way that might not bring about the best results. So practicing being in something that is difficult will help you to cultivate ways of meeting difficult people or situations with grace and handling them so you're not reacting, but instead you're responding and coming up with the best situation so everybody win-wins. Or if you watch The Office, win-win-wins. But that's why I really, again, love Hatha yoga so much. And when you go to a Hatha class, again, I think it's great for beginners because you are holding the poses a little bit longer. Expect to see other people that are ultimate beginners as well, and also advanced yogis. But most of the time a Hatha class is more geared towards beginners, or it will say otherwise in the description if it is an advanced Hatha class. They won't really be having you go into crazy arm balances or anything like that, so you can feel comfortable knowing that you're pretty much on the ground, feet are on the ground for the most part, and they will always offer, they should always offer modifications, starting with the modification and work up to the peak of the pose, so you can always practice the level that you're at and then start to build comfortably as you grow in your practice. When going to a yoga class, wear comfortable clothes like actual yoga clothes, leggings. You don't have to wear like tight fitted stuff. You can wear nice, loose, comfortable clothing, but nothing that will be see-through when you bend over. You can always do a check in the mirror, ask your friend before you go, and stuff that you don't wear a lot of jewelry or anything like that. No perfumes, no strong scents, just in case other people are allergic or sensitive to those things. I, being one of those people, tend to be kind of sensitive to like really strong perfumes, so it's just yoga etiquette, to not do that sort of thing, and go with an open mind. And if you're nervous, you can always be in the back of the class, but no one's going to be watching you. Everybody's there focusing on themselves, and you'll find that when you're practicing yoga, you're so busy thinking about and feeling into every pose and what's next that like, oh, I forgot there were other people around me even. So, and you can always talk to the teacher beforehand as well, pull them aside, like tell them your concerns if there are any, and if you have injuries, let them know. And even if you're not okay being touched, most of the time, teachers should always ask you or ask the class, maybe in child's pose, put a thumbs up if you're comfortable with hands-on assist. And if you're not, you just keep your thumb down. If they don't ask and you see them approaching you, it's totally okay to be like, hey, I'm not comfortable with a hands-on assist. And that might change, which is okay. But everybody will definitely be respectful of who you are and where you're at in your practice. And I think you'll find that Hatha classes are very encouraging. People in them are very encouraging. I have been to a lot of Hatha classes, and everyone's really welcoming and happy to answer any questions or leave you alone, whatever you're craving at that time. So I think that Hatha classes are really great to help build a sense of community, and I love actually just flowing with other people. Again, we're not looking at each other, we're not judging each other, but just feeling the energies around you and moving together is really just one of our most innate human ways of releasing energy and healing ourselves, coming together and moving together, breathing together, and it's just so beautiful and pure, and we feel so good walking out. Now, Hatha classes may start and or end with Om. Om is just the universal sound of the universe. It's said to be like the sound that created the universe, and it's just the sound of oneness. And so that's the only reason why they might practice Oming, and it's more of like a U U M M sounds, like ow. If you just say Om, that's okay too. No one's gonna be like, what the heck? But again, it's more of an A-A-U-U-M-M sound. So you just kind of drag that out using your full exhale. And they might do it 1 to 3 times, and that will signify either the start or the end of the class. And then afterwards, we always say namaste. Palms come together at the heart, bowing your head gently. And namaste just roughly translates to the love and light in me recognizes and honors the love and light in you and everyone and everything. So again, just acknowledging that we are all one, we are all connected. If I come with love, then that love will be reflected back through you to me, and that's how we just grow love around us and create more peace in the world. Now, the benefits of Hatha are just so great. Helps to cultivate balance and stability, especially a lot of the poses are, very balance oriented. Like you can start with something really simple, balance minded. So like a tabletop position where you lift opposite arm and opposite leg. That could, if you're ultra beginner and you've never done anything like this before, any kind of fitness, that could be where you start getting those balancers, those stabilizers working. Tree pose, there are different levels to tree pose, even where your toes are still on the ground and just your heel is touching your inner ankle of the opposite leg. So, and then you slowly work your foot up your leg. So again, you don't have to expect to just be able to like pick your leg up and hold it with your fingers in the air, and you're super flexible or anything like that. If you're not flexible, Hatha is the great way to get there. I am a super inflexible person. If I don't practice for like a week or two, or even a couple of days, I feel like I'm all the way back at one again. Like I feel like everything is just tight, and then I really have to work a lot to get my body back to being open again. But it's through practicing yoga that I build my flexibility, and that I also build a lot of strength. So if you feel kind of weak and you want to start working out, but weights are intimidating or vinyasa is too fast and too intimidating, Hatha is a really wonderful place to start, because even just in tabletop or plank pose, you're building your muscles in a gentle way, and it's not high impact. So if you do have any joint pains or osteoporosis, things like that, it's a really soft way to build strength, build flexibility, build confidence. Also helps to cultivate focus. It trains your mind and your body to be in something for a period of time without needing distractions or thinking of other things or wanting to move around and things like that. So it's just, again, a really great all-encompassing practice that I think is perfect for both beginners and intermediates alike, because you're never a master of Hatha yoga. Nobody's ever a master. And if they claim to be a master, run. Because you are forever growing. Anytime, it's like ogres are like onions. We have all these layers, right? And so once you finally peel a layer, you just get to another layer and you peel that layer, and so on and so forth. And so you're just always working through things, clearing old traumas or stagnant energies, progressing in your poses and your meditation, and carrying that into your daily life, meeting situations where you might have reacted, but now you're responding. And we're always human, first and foremost, so there will be times when you're triggered and you don't respond, instead you react, and that's okay. That means you just take that to your mat and you practice that in your poses and you practice that in your meditations, so if that ever comes up again, you are prepared to actually respond and to work through and clear and heal those things that come up that make us go, ah. So you'll never truly master Hatha, which is why, again, perfect for beginners and intermediates alike, and why is one of my most favorite practices and something I will be doing until the day I die. I will probably be in a yoga pose on my deathbed. So yes, I really recommend it for anybody wanting to start Hatha or to get deeper in their practice. Now, if you love Hatha, let me know in the comments, why do you love Hatha? What is it about it? Or if you've never tried it, what's intriguing you about it? Or if you have any questions about what a yoga class would mean, or anything, I'm here for you. And I'm also creating an online program that it'll be starting my first iteration of it January 4th. So this one will be done live with me over Zoom or Skype, and this one's going to be discounted and limited spots. So if you are interested in training with me more and building up your practice so you feel confident even just being at home, if you only have 5 minutes and you want something grounding or energizing, you know exactly what to do, how, and why, then please reach out to me. We will be starting January 4th, and again, this will be discounted and limited spots. So let me know if you have any questions about that as well, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow when we discuss Vinyasa. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.